Generation Cowboys and Sports Talk. My dad, my partner, my co-host, Cowboy Joe 64.
I am your father.
Just to get the Cowboys 2 good games to hopefully understand that they need to go receiver and go high with this next pick.
Yeah, yeah, that's really what this is gonna be about. All right, welcome everyone. You're looking live at Generation to Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks, and so I'm the host DJ. I tell you what, and I'm joined with my dad, Cowboy Joe 64, and we back with another one. It's a Sunday here, and it's a Sunday. It's a not a lot going on in the NFL right now. Not a lot of news, but um, we did have some breaking news. We did want to discuss a few things. So as you can see, so it's our name has been Generation to Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks, but we decided to change it early in the game as we could to Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talk, and that's just because of when people recognize or when people give us shout outs and things like that, it's much easier for people to just type in or just notice who everyone is talking about when they say, hey, the father and son cowboy duo. Everyone, that's how everyone recognizes us. I mean, even when I'm out in public, my friends, they always say, when they're explaining the channel, they always say, yo, yeah, he's the one. He got the father and son cowboy podcast. So we just thought it would be a cool thing to go ahead and change the name now to Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talk. And it kind of just shouts out to all the father and son duos out there, all the fathers that they have connections with their sons due to sports and due to the Cowboys. Like me and my dad, the crux, or really a crux of a lot of our relationship is about the Cowboys. I mean, we talk about the Cowboys every day, and we've done that probably since I was probably about I don't know, 11 years old. And we've done that every single day, 24/7. And so we just figured that we'll make a play on that and change that. And then also, what we want to talk about today is the art of the running back usage in the NFL, because the running back usage has changed tremendously over the years. The Cowboys, they've kind of been slow to kind of get with the tide, but we'll get into that. You want to say what's up to the people and kind of delve off into that a little bit?
So, what's up to the people? Sunday night. Appreciate you guys joining. Good to see you, Hoodie. Appreciate you checking in. And so, yeah, we're gonna talk about some of the breaking news, last few days, things that have happened. Talk about what we're doing with our show. We're making a couple of changes, just to kind of relaunch the show, including the name change. So we'll talk about that. And then this week we're gonna be working on some stuff, even some more updates to, what you did with the name change, some different things we're gonna be doing. So we'll really just be chatting with you guys this week on that. So I'm kind of got a little extra time on my hands, so we can kind of do some updates to the show. So appreciate it. And yeah, I was gonna ask you. So, and I had heard this, and I don't think we talked about it, but I don't know if you heard this. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I want to give credit where credit is due. I can't remember if I heard this on, was it on Mark Holmes or was it on Law? They said that Dak was the one that bailed out Cavante, where it set the whole thing up. I thought that was pretty interesting that Dak, he's getting all this criticism, but he stepped up to do that. Again, it's just speculation that he did, so I don't know if you had heard that.
I haven't heard that, but I'm gonna look it up now and see if I can put any validity to it.
Yeah, that was reported on one of the guys. I wish I had, made note of it.
So I mean, you can, for what it's worth, you can take AI for what it's worth, but
Hmm.
it says on AI overview, it says multiple reports indicate that Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott is the person that paid bail for Cavante Turpin after his arrest on July 5th, 2025.
Okay, yeah, that's. So just what do you think about that?
I mean, like I said, I'm biased really when it comes to Dak because I'm just not a Dak hater. I just don't feel like, that Dak is not the one. I like Dak. I like Dak for his good and his bad, but I just think Dak is a hell of a person too. I like his personality. That I just like Dak as a human. And so and he's about that life. That's the type of stuff that he do. You know what I mean? And that's why it's like I said, Dak is the engine on the team, and they all respect him. They all love him. I mean, he's a man's man, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't supposed to be in this position that he's in. He got drafted in the fourth round. He wasn't supposed to be the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. If it wasn't for Tony Romo getting hurt in the preseason, and then if it wasn't for Kellen Moore breaking his arm during the preseason, we wouldn't even know who Dak was, or we would know who he was, but he wouldn't be on our team. So the fact that he came in and he did all of that, and he's rose to the occasion. I mean, he's always in the conversation for, I don't know, you can say top 10. I'm gonna say top 5, because everyone always does this thing to me to where it's unfair to the quarterbacks and it's unfair to the team, really, how everyone always says like, oh, this person or that person is not good because uh of a win or a loss. Like, for instance, like they'll say like they'll say Dak played Jalen Hurts in week 16. Dak didn't play with Jalen Hurts in week 16. Or like Dak Dak retired Dak retired uh um Tom Brady when they played him in the playoffs. Dak did not retire Tom Brady. Tom Brady, as a matter of fact, Dak had nothing to do with Tom Brady retiring. So it's just like that narrative, like, oh, just because he's a quarterback and he's a quarterback, it's him against him, and it's just like that's just not accurate. Because what happens if, like, this quarterback over here plays great, but their defense plays horrible, and then that quarterback over there plays horrible, but their defense plays great and they win. So the horrible quarterback, that he wins, and now you're saying that he beat Dak because, I mean, he beat the other one because his team won. That doesn't make sense. It's just like I always ask people, if we had Patrick Mahomes on our team for the last 10 years, will we have any championships? I don't think so. I don't think we would,
Yeah.
because I mean, how would we? And then on top of that, it's just like, I mean, so if you have Patrick Mahomes, but you have Jerry and Steven having 2 or 3 years where they just don't do anything in free agency. They don't do anything in the draft. They drafting people like Mozzie and Schoon and doing all this stuff. Do you think that Patrick Mahomes would be a champion, or three-time champion? He would not be, because it's not
Right.
all about the quarterback.
It's not, and that part is not fair. That's never really going to change. Hey, and I didn't want to speak out of turn. So there was Hoodie that uh, broke that news, and I can't remember, Hoodie, if you was on Law's channel or on Mark Holmes' channel. So I didn't want to misspeak, but that was you. So appreciate that. So
You said
yeah, I
my
just
guy Ernie. Yeah, I like my guy. I like Ernie, the Cowboys fan. Yeah, I like Ernie, the Cowboys fan. Do you
who is
follow
Ernie?
Ernie?
I'm not familiar with Ernie, and I don't listen to him. Is he? I gotta check him out.
I
So
be on him. I see him on. I think I see
I
him
think
on Twitter.
he
What
did. But
law?
I think
Okay.
he was on Law. Yeah, he was on Law's show. So, but yeah, I think it just says a lot about Dak, and despite his criticism, the fact that that's gonna go a long way with him and his teammates. And one of the reasons that they didn't go back to Romo during that time was they really just felt like the guys in the locker room. Dak had taken over the locker room, and you can argue whether he should have, Romo should have went back in or not. But yeah, that's kind of where Dak came along. And it was one other thing I was gonna mention to you that we can talk about. We're gonna get into the running back thing that you mentioned. So before we break, I want to talk about, so two things happened this week that I took note of. So Mike Fisher, in one of his shows, again, I don't remember which day it was, he basically said that Schoonmaker was a third tight end, and he was saying that they can't even trade Schoonmaker at this point, so he's not really sure what's going to happen there. And then the other kind of breaking news was Greg Ellis' interview on DLS Sports Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
His interview was really interesting, and we can try to chop it up later. But he basically said that Mozzie is playing out of position. They're going to be asking Mozzie to rush upfield. That's not the type of player that he is. That's not what he was really drafted for. And then at the end of that broadcast, he said they should trade Mozzie. But again, you can't trade Mozzie. There isn't like a market for Mozzie. So I said all that to say this. That 23 draft, you got major people out here in the marketplace, content creators talking about the first and second round pick of that draft. And we just keeping it a buck. I just think if they just have a fair competition. Oh, and then one last thing Clarence Hill said, and we're going to get into your running backs thing. Clarence Hill said, and I've been kind of thinking this, and we can talk about this later on this week. He believes probably what's going to end up happening at this point, they're going to end up playing 2-3 techniques. The one technique thing, if Mozzie doesn't pan out, they may not try to bring in another one technique or try to trade for one. The three technique room is so crowded, they might think they got two people that can just, you can play 2 3s. And I've been kind of thinking that because a couple of the guys that they have, uh, they're just going to have to play. And you're
Mm-hmm.
not going to have a true one technique. And that's just so Dallas Cowboys, they will absolutely do it. Now, other teams won't do that, but they will. So there's just something to kind of put on the fire for later.
Well, okay, so it's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot to unpack. Right there. So, I mean, the whole. I can go. The whole 2-3 techniques. I mean, now from my understanding, so the one text is like the big boys, and then
Yeah.
the three tech is like the edge rushers, right?
Well,
So,
the three tech is the defensive tackle. It's Osa. He's the
oh,
prototype three tech. The guy
right.
that the run, he plays, he rushed the passer. He obviously stops the run, but he's just the guy that's just hard to deal with. The
So
the
who
one
else?
tech, the
Who else
one
would?
tech is huh?
The one tech is what, Mozzie?
The one tech is the guy that basically, plugs the gap. Your strongest, biggest, strongest guy. And depending on the defense, just it depends. And then you got some people that they play the one tech in the A gap, and then some people play the one tech over the center. But that's usually your biggest, strongest guy. And that guy is not concerned about getting upfield. He's just concerned with nobody coming through that gap.
So,
What Greg Ellis has said, and what I've been saying for the longest, is they're going to be asking him to run upfield, and that's not what he does.
So JVB boy, so yes, it's still gen to gen. You can still type it in and search for gen to gen because that's still the handle and everything. But going forward, we're gonna morph into father and son cowboys and sports talks. So it's fast cast instead of gen to gen cast. It's just easier to say it that way. It's just a better play on our actual podcast. And so yeah, so it is
And then
gen to
you
gen.
research this hard. It's easier to find us that way. That's what you said, yeah.
It's way easier to find us that way. If you
Because
type in
people were having trouble finding us with gen to gen.
they were. And
Yeah.
like last night I asked a guy wanted to follow us last night, and I told him to type in father, and before I told him to type in father and son. Before he even finished it, it popped right up.
Yeah.
It said father, and then it automatically popped up. So it's automatically, but we're still associated with gen to gen cast because it's still our handle on certain things. So if you type in gen to gen cast, you'll find us too.
So are you gonna update the handle later, or that's just kind of
Well, I don't want to update the handle yet because I want
oh,
people
okay?
to be able to
Be able to see,
still,
yeah.
yeah, I want people to be,
Now
yeah.
and then
See what Miles said, say it's
he
catchier
said
and
catcher, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you joining. And then we finally made it over 200 subscribers, which kind of milestone. We never that was the first time we've been on the air since that happened. So appreciate everybody that's subscribing. We're actually at 205, which we were like at 190 forever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we kind of doing some things just kind of like now. I mean, you're doing everything. Just I
Mm-hmm.
pretty much just kind of like back in the day. I just provide the color, like they say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're doing all the leg work. You're the the wedge behind it all. But yeah, so we're just gonna let everybody know we updated. But appreciate you guys. So let's and make sure you
So,
guys like and subscribe.
oh yeah,
And
like it's make sure you like and subscribe too, because also so we gotta get so to mark the next milestone. So we did 100, we flew by 200. Like we was at 198. We woke up the next day, we was at 205, and so what we're gonna do now is what we're gonna be doing now. Shout out to you, Ramon. I'm glad you joined the show. So what we're gonna do now is we're
what's up,
gonna
Ramon? I just talked to your mom about an hour ago.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So what we gonna do now? The next milestone is 500. So that's what our goal is. If we get 500, we get monetized. So that's the goal, 500. So this whole campaign, this whole season for us is gonna be about follow, follow, follow. So subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.
And then
Uh,
with training camp, we're gonna pretty much be on. We're gonna try to be on like
every day.
every day at some
Yeah.
point. But talk
So
about your running back
well, I
thing.
want to talk about the one technique thing because that's interesting to me because I was trying to figure out like, so what's up? Like, so I guess so are they saying that they're gonna have like Sam Williams playing at the same time as what they trying to what are they saying? That we're
As it
gonna have
relates to what I talked about the tackles,
yeah, like if we like
well,
like,
no, I think the to me the
shout out to you, Jeremy.
linebackers. Hey, Jeremy, appreciate you joining. Yeah, I think the linebackers and the edges. I think that's pretty set. I just think that what you're gonna do, you're gonna see a lot of people calling it the the NASCAR package or nickel and dime package. You're gonna just see Michael moved around. You're gonna see Dante Fowler. You're gonna say Easy. You're gonna see Nealon, and you're just gonna it's gonna be literally like what Jimmy would do. You're gonna just see, and you talked about it yourself. This defense, the Marinelli, Eberflus, he just gonna to answer your question. They're all gonna be on the field at some point, not all at the same time, but so I say this, if we get a lead on teams, it's gonna be hard for them to throw the ball, and it's gonna be hard because we just got edges for forever.
Yeah, that's but see, and that's our thing. See, when you run up against a tough opponent or a smart coach, they're not gonna abandon the run at all. Like, I mean, they're gonna
Yeah,
probably be down still because
that's gonna
that's
be your problem
right. That's how
when
you
they
would beat
trying to
us.
gash us.
Right.
And the 49ers, that type of offense, when we play the Packers, I gotta pull up our schedule again. I just think the early test for us, well, obviously the Eagles, the first game, because they gonna try to gash us for
But
sure.
see, but I'm gonna say this again. Now you said that my opinion on the Eagles game, the first Eagles game, that's a wash. I don't think that we can take anything from that game.
But no, I'm just saying the where they're gonna try to attack us is they're gonna try to run on us,
And I'm
and
just
they're not gonna give up the run.
and see what I'm saying is I don't want us to be fooled into
No,
believing that we can stop the run because we probably gonna be able to stop that run. Watch, they
yeah,
they
and
they,
I'm
they gonna
no,
come in and they gonna try to run the ball down our throat. They gonna probably only get 90 yards, and then all of a sudden they gonna say we can stop the run, and that's not the
no, I'm not
situation.
saying that. No,
Right. You see
no,
what I'm saying?
absolutely not. I don't think any of the content creators that we are aligned with, no one is gonna be
Yeah.
thinking anything after that game other than we just won and oh. So I don't
Right.
think that's gonna be a problem.
Good. So okay, and so yeah, so the running back thing, and shout out to so now Greg Ellis, he's an assistant defensive line coach.
Not anymore.
So he's not right now.
No, they didn't retain him.
Okay, so he thinks that Mozzie's Mozzie is playing the wrong position now. I didn't think that it was going to be hard to trade Mozzie. I feel like Mozzie somebody will look
Mm-mm.
up, somebody could be like, yeah, we could do
No,
something with him. But
nope.
well, looks like we stuck with him. And then I remember I had to hate for LVE because he wasn't aggressive to the correct gap. Uh, how do you think Cowboys Nation would act when Murray hits the wrong gap aggressively?
Uh, mm, yeah.
Uh, well,
I think the difference is Murray and every linebacker can at times hit the wrong gap, especially the way these offenses are calling plays. They gonna put you in the
misdirection.
wrong gap. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but the question is when he gets to the right gap. I just think that the way Murray plays, the way Overshawn plays, I just don't think LVE. The early version of LVE, his first 2 years, that was LVE. But his last few years, his neck injury was really obvious, and he just didn't play the same. So the first 2 years of LVE JVB, boy, I agree. That's kind. He was playing like that, but his last year. But no, Murray, when he gets to the right gap, whenever it is, he's gonna hit you. And he's gonna be physical, and I think
Yeah.
that Leofau is gonna do that. I think that Overshawn when he's back, and we think that that's the way that Sanborn is gonna play as well. So I don't think physicality is gonna be our problem, but
Well,
shooting the wrong Sanborn is gonna hit the wrong gap for sure,
see, my thing is this. I
and
think
Leofau too.
Leofeld too. See, but and then also, and Damone Clark is probably gonna be on the team, but he be hitting the right gap. He just don't tackle. But
Yeah,
but the thing about this is, JVB boy, my opinion is, I think that they have so many linebackers and the linebackers that they have, they're intelligent. They're not like they're not like, I say Kenneth Murray is probably the most. I don't want to say unintelligent, but he's the one that is known for hitting the wrong gap all the time.
yeah,
Other than that, those other people, those other linebackers that we have, they're not known for that. Like Jack
yeah.
Sanborn, when you do the research on Jack Sanborn, one of his strengths is he's always at the right place at the right time. Uh,
And they all play physical
they
when
all
they
play
when
physical
they when they get there.
when they
Um,
get there. So I think that it's gonna be enough to. I think our other linebacker play is gonna be enough to where when Kenneth Murray hits the wrong gap every now and then, we just gonna be like, what is, that was crazy. But he also
yeah,
gonna make it up. I think he probably gonna have a highlight per game. I would say it's gonna be one tackle where he hit the gap aggressively, because you can look at his highlights and you can see when he hit the gap aggressively and he hit. It'd be a huge,
and
it'd be huge.
And they say that Eberflus, he's able to coach guys up to where that doesn't happen a lot. His linebackers in his scheme, they just, they are pretty much on point. That's what we're gonna get that theory tested with Eberflus
Yeah.
in the first part of this year. But it's no, I think it ain't no doubt in my mind that September 4th you're gonna see a heavy dose of Saquon, and we're gonna have to, and nobody's gonna read into if we win that game and stop him. Because my thing is with Eberflus, he better have a game plan to stop the run because I'm not giving him no grace period. I'm not.
Yeah, I agree
That's
with
that's
you.
gonna be my review after game one. It's gonna be my review after game 2, 3, and 4. He don't get no grace period with me because
Yeah.
I
Now,
just I'm just not. I'm 30 years. You don't have that kind of time.
nah, and he really don't fit the mold of, now I'll say this. He is like a Cowboys coach, like I like to say. He's a Cowboy coach, he's born bred, he's a Cowboy coach. But he doesn't fit the mold of like Shoddy and the rest of those guys. What's the name, a few of them? Uh,
Well, White Cotton is the defensive line coach.
mhm,
There again, his teams at New York, the Jets, White
mhm,
Cotton,
mhm.
his D line, they were really good against the run.
Yeah,
And
they were showing this clip the other day about him getting into it with one of the players on the
yeah,
sideline.
well, the
So
player and the name escapes me. That's one
yeah,
of the players that we need to be targeting. I can't remember his name.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
one of the guys that we should be kind of looking at.
If we he's too good to be trying to, why would they get? I think that he like the best player on they one of the
It's
best player
I
on their
think it's
team.
Quentin Williams.
Yeah, Quentin Williams is not even. It's not
But
even.
but the way that works, what you got to look at teams like the Jets,
Yeah,
they're looking at building for the future. So
yeah.
you might be able to get him for a pick. Now we don't have a lot of picks, but this, like I keep telling you, a fifth round pick is very valuable.
Well, that's not what you're gonna trade for Quentin Williams.
Well, where I push back on that, when he get traded, that's what players like that get traded for. Only Dallas gives up high picks for those for trades.
And he's a really good player.
He is a good player, but I'm telling you, so we'll see. But
Yeah,
he's
we'll
just
see.
one of the names
Oh, yeah, if
that we're
we were
seeing.
if we were to get him fixed, defense fixed.
Yeah, So it's
Uh,
another name that I was thinking about earlier. It'll come to me here in a minute. But
uh,
go ahead with your running back thing.
Yeah, so the running back thing. So the running back usage over the over the last, I don't know, decade, more than that, has changed quite a bit. And so like for instance, I was talking about how the Cowboys last year, they really had an opportunity to fix this running back situation. They could have gotten Henry. They could have gotten a lot of other running backs. They could have got Henry. They could have got Saquon. They could have got Joe Mixon. So the running backs went really cheap last year in the offseason. They went really cheap. And Jerry made this brazen comment talking about we just couldn't afford them. And that was just not true because it's public knowledge. The cap is public knowledge, and yeah, I agree with you, JVB boy. Missing the correct gap is game changing for sure. Um, so Kenneth Murray, he gonna be on the clock. We're gonna be watching him. Um, Eberflus is supposed to be able to coach above that, so I guess we gonna see. But the running backs thing has changed so much drastically just in the last 2 or 3 years because like I said, the Cowboys, they had the opportunity to get that situated. They've had opportunities in the past to draft good running backs. They had a opportunity this year to draft Caleb Johnson in the second round, and they didn't do that. Um,
Devin Neal.
Devin Neal, Damian Martinez, they could have got any of these guys, and they decided not to. And also, see, I remember Zeke, Henry, Saquon, they were all drafted around the same time. But the way that the running back game has changed, there isn't really like a bell cow situation anymore, or there should not be. And you're seeing the remnants of that now. It's kind of like with Derrick Henry and Saquon still being in their prime or still performing at their peak, and Zeke is retired basically. And so they came in at the same time. Now, at the beginning of their careers, Zeke was way better than them, but he also got like twice and three times as many carries as they did their first 5 years because he was a dedicated bell cow back. He was the person that you really, really, really give the ball to. He could take it to the house. He did everything. He blocked good. He caught the ball at the backfield. He could take it to the house at any time. But you know, this day and age, you need more than one. You need thunder and lightning. You need Zeke and Tony Pollard both in their prime in order to have a successful running back. But you could have got Henry. So now it's kind of like you're gonna be looking at Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa, or Jaden Blue and Javante Williams, or you're gonna be looking at two people. You might end up having, if they're not good enough, you might end up having to trade for a running back, or he would have been the bell cow. Yeah, for sure he would have. But also, see, in me and my dad's mock drafts, we wasn't just doing like the bell cow. We were doing Caleb Johnson, but then we would also do Jaden Blue at the end. So we would make sure that we was getting two. So yeah, we would get Caleb Johnson, but you would also make sure that you get someone like Blue. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that can come in and still take it to the house on any given play. So it's just kind of messed up the way the Cowboys have done things. They're gonna do the running back by committee, and I'm gonna let my dad explain to you how what's Tom Landry invented the third down back and how that changed the game. And so what we need right now is we need for the Cowboys and someone on their in their team, in their facility, to have an innovative idea or something innovative that can fix the running back situation as we currently have it. It's not outside. You have to think. We have to think outside the box if that's trading for somebody or whatever the case may be. But they need to be doing something innovative that could change the game to where they can say, "Oh yeah, well they solved that problem by doing this."
So in the 70s, and I like to tell a lot of OG Cowboy stories. I grew up in the 70s. Of course, that's when the Cowboys became America's team. But what Landry did when they drafted Dorsett, Dorsett wasn't a like physically imposing back. So Tom Landry purposely went about just reducing his carries. Dorsett didn't like that, by the way. But so he had, Preston Pearson. We did our first show about Preston Pearson being basically the invention of the third down back. The other reason it happened is Tony Dorsett couldn't catch. Yeah, he had bad hands. and Landry liked to run screens. He was like the professor of the screen game. And so he introduced Preston Pearson. He later drafted Ron Springs. He had a lot of other different backs, but Dorsett didn't get a lot of carries, and it really extended Dorsett's career. He later had some kind of knee injuries. You know, back then when you got a knee injury, that really kind of changed your career, unlike now. But yeah, so Landry was innovative the way he did it, and Tom Landry, if he had been around when we drafted Zeke, Zeke would still be with us because he wouldn't have ran Zeke into the ground. And so
So
even an OG coach like that knew better.
so now since we're talking about that, what was something that was innovative that Jimmy did pertaining to the offense or running back, if you can figure something out like that?
So, as you know, offensively, Jimmy really turned everything over to Norv. Now, the thing that Norv would do offensively, Emmett got a lot of touches, but Norv would throw the ball to Emmett a lot. That's what Jason Garrett and Scott Lanahan got away from. They would try to say that they was using the Norv Turner offense. They were using a variation of it. But what Norv would do, to answer your question, he would throw the ball to Emmett, and Emmett had terrific hands. And so he would just get Emmett out in open space. And the thing about Emmett that's different from these backs is you just never could get a good hit on him, no matter where he was. So if he was running, you just couldn't get a good shot on him because he had the great line. But when Noah would throw him the ball, running backs couldn't cover him. And next thing you know, this running back who might be the best ever, he's just in wide open space, and you know what happens then. So that's what they did that was innovative. They would throw the ball to Emmett all the time. I've been watching the throwback games, as you know. I was
Right.
watching the 93 NFC championship game. The first half, Emmett had like 6 catches and they couldn't cover him. He scored on one. He scored on a touchdown wide open. Nobody was near him.
Is that real?
It's
Mm.
traded. Oh, that's a Trader Booker. Okay, I
Okay,
thought
but anyway,
I thought it
anyway,
said Tyler Booker.
it
It
did
does
say
say
Tyler
Tyler Booker.
Booker.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
what happened,
Okay, so so
but
so
but
listen,
that was the innovation. They would throw the
right,
ball to Emmett
they would throw the ball to Emmett.
all the
So
time.
we need to be figuring out what's something that's innovative that Shoddy can do and that our offensive coordinator can do to our backs that can change the game to where it's unexpected. And
Well, I have your answer, and people been talking about it. The
what's that?
answer is motion. For us, you saying to yourself that's not innovative, but that's something that Mike McCarthy just refused to do. That's what Shoddy is gonna do. He's gonna introduce we believe now. Everybody have underwear Olympics. He been talking all of these things, so we got to see it. But that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna put motion in our offense, which is gonna be the innovation that we desperately need.
Because I'm talking about like like the two back system is
Hmm.
very, very, very helpful because it's just like when you look at the Lions and they got Montgomery and they got Jameer Gibbs. I mean that's a hard combination. When
Yeah.
you look at like the Bucks and they got uh what's his name, and Ronald Jones. That's dynamic right there.
Yeah.
Bucky Irvin and Ronald man, that's rough on you.
Yeah. I don't even know who the Eagles' second running back is. But
Uh,
that's if the Eagles are smart, that's their next step. I don't did they draft a back? Because
mm,
Saquon, I'm gonna tell you something that I think might happen with Saquon, and you heard it here first.
mhm.
What you saw last year might have been his peak. I think it wouldn't surprise me at all if Saquon has a down year because that's just what happens to back. And he had the year he had last year. I just don't see him duplicating that. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I think we can beat him because I just think that the Super Bowl hangover. I just think Saquon, he's a professional, but I just don't know if he's going to have the same kind of year. That's why I think we could really win the division.
Yeah, I don't. And like it's not far fetched. You know what I'm saying? Like the Eagles, they did their thing, okay, and the Eagles. They did what we should have done, and Washington did too. It's not far fetched. If Washington, you know how many times we've been in the same position that Washington was in, and we just didn't win those last few games because of
Yeah.
something crazy. Like we point it out all the time. Something crazy always happens, and it
Hmm.
literally be one. We be one play away a lot. So it's not like, it's not far fetched for
What
us
what
to.
gets us what gets us typically what's hurt us is the coaching aspect of it. That's what got us in 2016. It was Marinelli. Now the 2014 team, your favorite team probably.
Mhm.
I don't. That really wasn't a coaching situation. We just on the road in a tough spot, and I've been watching a lot of the old Cowboy games, and they went to three straight NFC Championship games in the '80s to the end Tom Landry's career, but they were all on the road, and so playing at home is a big deal. If they had played those games at home, right now we're already at 6 or 7 Super Bowls. I think they would have won 2 out of 3. They was on the road.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, that's what has happened in the past, and that's what, like, I think I have a feeling that's changing, and really because it's so obvious. What I mean? It's not like, it's not like a question mark. Shoddy and his staff, I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't. It's not that I'm pretty sure. They know that that's the problem, and they've said that, they've acknowledged that. So they're
Mm.
coming in to change that. So it's just like when they say about us stopping the run. I can guarantee you right now that every single day, that's all that Eberflus is talking about.
That's why I said I don't think he's gonna get a grace period, and if he's not stopping the run in these first 4 games, boy, tell
Hey,
you, I wouldn't want to be him.
yeah, now yeah, it's gonna be rough on him if he's not stopping the run, because I'm telling you, that's all that we've been talking
He's
about.
going to essentially become the head coach. That's what's going. Well, in terms of criticism,
Nah,
they're gonna be looking at him.
salute, Lou. What's up,
Hey,
man?
Lou, appreciate it. We
Yeah,
chatted earlier today. Yeah, if Oberflus is not stopping the run in the first 4 games, Shotty, he's gonna get a pass.
yeah,
Everything is gonna be all of the guns are gonna be pointed at Eberflus.
for sure.
It's
I
not,
agree.
and it's not gonna be at Mozzie either.
It's not gonna be at Mozzie. Nah, it
No,
ain't gonna be.
it's
No,
gonna
they're
be
not
at the
gonna.
coach.
Yeah, and they're not gonna be saying it's because of injuries or none of that.
And I do you one better. What's gonna happen is if they're not stopping the run, you're gonna hear people saying that they're not using Mozzie correctly. It's not gonna be that Mozzie is not playing well. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and then you know what? That might be true.
Yeah.
How else can we explain picking Mozzie with a first round pick, and he has never gotten over the hump yet with 3 different defensive coordinators,
Well, one of the issues with Mozzie is he's had so many coaches too.
and that's just crazy. I
But
mean,
just to be honest, keep it a buck.
mhm.
Zim scheme fit Mozzie better than this
Ooh,
one.
Jesus.
What?
He said JVB boy said that our run defense ranked 29 last year. Woo!
Yeah, it the last half of the season it was better. If you just looked at the last half, they were much better, and they actually got a lot better when Michael came back too.
And
So
that's what I
yeah,
was also saying this too. These numbers kind of do be fool goal a lot of time, because it's just like,
yeah,
yeah, if you get out on front of teams all the time, your running defense is gonna be great because
but they
teams
just
are never gonna run the ball.
they just played better the second half. When
Woo!
Michael returned and Donovan Wilson started playing, yeah,
Mhm.
those stats, and we've seen
Woo!
that's Eberflus. Now I've seen stats also where Eberflus was top in the league, and it's so those stats are all
Oh
over
yeah,
the place on
yeah,
Eberflus.
yeah. I seen them too. When they came out, they was talking about when he was with the Colts and all of this kind of stuff, and how they had good defenses and stuff. Yeah,
He's at
complete 180.
180-yard
No,
run.
he said our defense had a complete 180
Oh,
when Michael
complete
returned.
180. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
they
for
played a
sure.
lot better. And
Nah,
Donovan Wilson started playing better too, because
what
Zim
he
figured out how to use him.
oh man, and he was all over the place. And he
Yeah.
had he came back from injury. But Miles was correct. When Michael came back, our defense played totally different.
But you got to
And
remember, we played Washington up there, we beat them, and then we
yeah,
played them here, and they won like with like a few seconds left, and but
yeah,
we didn't. Of course, we would have swept them with Dak.
yeah, for sure. I mean, like, like I said, it's a lot of things that we could have said, woulda, coulda, shoulda yesterday.
Martin Hatchie.
No,
Oh,
that's not no. Shout
Nana.
out.
Hey, Nana. Happy birthday weekend. We had
Every,
a
yeah.
hope she had a great one.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, we would have swept them.
I told her, no, she's famous. Everybody on, man. Shout out to my grandmother, y'all. Y'all tell her happy birthday. She's in the comments. But everybody was telling my granny happy birthday on Facebook. I kept scrolling every other picture. Somebody was telling Nana happy birthday. So she's famous. But anyways, so the whole thing with the last year and then being hurt with Dak. You know, when Dak was on the sideline and Dak said we effing suck, they had a whole little meeting last year. Once they realized that this was Mike McCarthy's last year, he wasn't getting his contract extended. Once they found out that they went back and got Zeke, and once they found out that they were not doing anything in the offseason, that they were not making any kind of acquisitions or anything, the whole team automatically knew what time it was.
But the piggyback on that, but the other side of that coin, here's the thing. Even with that plan, if you got Micah for 17 games, Dak 17, Overshawn for 17 games, who we missing? Diggs for 17 games.
You still be in the NFC Championship game.
You would have been a playoff team.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna say this again because I've been saying this. People, why is there like a jury out on like if the Cowboys are gonna make the playoffs or if they're a good team or not? It's just like, dude, for the last 5 years, their average win percentage is probably like 12-5 or something. It's probably like they're probably like 10 win team over the last 5 years. I mean,
it's just based on health. If we stay healthy, we have a shot. And so someone down in the chat said 10-7. My prediction is the division winner is going to be 10-7 or 11-6. Because both the teams play the same schedule. The Eagles, the Commanders, they're not going through this schedule going 12-5 or 13-4. It's not going to happen. They play the same teams we play.
And like I said, a big factor in that is the games that we play, because those games are toss-up games. We could easily beat the Eagles, and they can easily beat us, and Washington can easily beat the Eagles. So it's not like,
I got a stat for you. And I read this the other day. I got to start clipping my stuff when I see this stuff and send it to you.
Yeah.
The Commanders, were one of the most penalized teams in the league last year. They were like top 5, and we saw that with Dan Quinn when he was here. Our defense under Dan Quinn, they made a lot of plays, but they were heavily penalized.
Yeah, remember I showed that stat during the season about how the Washington defense was like not even like, remember how the takeaways, how we had more takeaways than they did, and it's just like that's wild. So, but here again, it kind of goes back to my point. What this doesn't mean is this doesn't mean anything when an offense or when a defense performs poorly, because if your offense is lighting up the charts, you can still end up in the NFC Championship game, because this is the type of sport to where it's not all on one player. So yeah, you might be the most penalized team in the NFL, but you also might be in the Super Bowl.
So one of the things for me that's going to be this season is, and it goes back to Tom Landry too. One of the things that he always tried to do, he did it a lot. He would try to have his team playing well going into the playoffs. That was his number one mantra, to have
peak at the right time.
Peak at the right time. And I think that's, for me, it's all about the health. If we can just keep everybody healthy and get everybody healthy at the right time, I think what may be different this year is that, we can just, it doesn't really matter if we're playing at home or on the road. We might be able to this might be your year. Everybody, at some point, the clock is just going to be right twice a day. And so I just got a feeling that that's going to be the kind of year we're going to have. We're going to be a second half team. We're going to be a better team at the end of the year. When you get Diggs and Ravel and some of these other guys, when you get them in the flow, and I just think we probably had a running back thing resolved by then, which is the theme of your show that you put together. So I just think it's gonna take us not a couple of weeks. It's gonna take us about 6 or 7 games to figure the whole thing out. Now the thing is, during that time period, you can't go 2-5 or 2-6. Then you got problems.
Mhm.
So that's the thing. And this running back thing, if they don't figure it out pretty quick, I just think they will make a move. Now I still don't know who you would trade for. We got to come up with a name later.
Well, like I said, this team is a good team. So, like when I be looking at the Cowboys, especially like last
Magic
year.
Mike, appreciate it. So Magic Mike, I'm a noob, and one of my line brothers is from Kansas City, and he's a Chiefs fan all the way. So shout out to Coach Graham. I got to call Coach Graham.
Okay.
Uh,
And oh yeah, that's who that is right there.
no, that's Magic Mike. He said
Oh,
Kansas City Chiefs in the building. See y'all
oh okay.
Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
And so Coach Graham, I say, Coach, the Chiefs coming to Dallas on Thanksgiving. I know you going to the game. No, Judge, you know,
Coach
I'm
Brown.
what Coach.
Yeah.
Coach say he's not going to the game. I say, well, it's gonna be one of your chances to see him. But yeah, he's a Kansas City Chiefs fan all the way. But yeah,
Yeah.
so your running back thing,
Mhm.
the running backs that we have, it might take them 6 or 7 weeks to gel.
This
We
is
might
crazy.
have the running backs.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, I think we do. I think we got at least one. I think that
JVB boy. Well,
yeah.
we did multiple mock drafts during that draft, and we took Achan in a lot of the drafts. We
Yeah.
took we did mock drafts this year, about 200 of them. We took a back in the second or third round, and we
Every
took one
time.
in the fifth round. So
Every time.
now we did take Jadon Blue, but we took him in the fifth and sixth. But we had another running back in the second or third, pretty much in every draft.
Now, me personally, man, I'm a Hunter Luepke fan. I don't understand what the deal is. Why you just don't be handing him the ball and letting him do what he does, and why you don't let him catch the ball out the backfield? Because to me, if this was my team and I had to go tomorrow and I couldn't do anything else, I would have Javonte Williams, I would have Jaden Blue, and I would have Hunter Luepke. That's who my running backs would be,
And look,
and
you can catch it out of the backfield too.
they would be playing and they would be doing good jobs. And we know that Hunter Luepke can block very well because he played pretty much tight end, and he's a fullback, and he is. You know how like some running backs, like Emmett, some running backs they just know how they just know how to maneuver. They just know how not to get hit, or they know how to fall right, or they just know how to evade tackles by just doing something so simple. That's who he is.
I watched the NFC Championship game today for 1993. You know who was like just smoking people out of the backfield, catching the ball and running? Daryl
Dale
Johnston.
Johnson.
He was just, and he wasn't running around nobody, but he was doing exactly what you're saying. He was just getting open. He scored a touchdown, um, too. Um, and by the way, he wasn't touched, but they used him. See, the answer to your question, big
Big
time
time.
show. Good to see you, Noop. So I get the reason they didn't use Hunter Lipke. I got 2 words for you: Mike McCarthy. That's why they didn't use him.
Such a hater. And Hunter Luepke, he is star status to me. I feel like he can get that. I feel like he can do some things. I remember when he first came out, when I was watching his highlight film, because he was a tailback in college. He wasn't a fullback. And
Yeah.
he was very dynamic. And he can catch the ball at the back. Do you know every time this man touches the ball on last season and the year before, it'd be a dynamic play
Yeah.
to some degree. Like he'll make a catch that you don't see fullbacks making. You know what I mean? Or he'll do something. He had the one fumble against Miami, and they act like that was just the end of the world. When Tony Pollard, the play before that, could have just ducked his head down and not fail at the one.
Yep.
And so, man, it's just Hunter Luepke. We got good players on this team that need to be utilized correctly. And being that they don't have sponsors anymore, and we don't have to deal with the politics like McCarthy not liking and like Jerry, politicking with Zeke when you got, Rico back here. And they could have kept Rico, by the way, and paid him whatever he's getting paid now, and you'd have your answer at running back. Because if he was here and Jaden Blue was here and Hunter Luepke was here,
Yep.
we would be all right. And so
They
you know,
fell out with Rico and the agent because of the way they did Rico earlier in the year. They basically he was a healthy scratch.
and
But
that was, but that's what I was saying about them politicking. Well,
Mhm.
Jerry and Steven politicking with him, and playing Zeke over him when there was absolutely no reason to do that. And so you don't have any of that anymore because Shotty, these are not these guys as sponsors. These guys are in here, Clayton Adams and them. They in here looking at talent. They not looking at, oh, I drafted you. They looking at, this is what you do good. And Shotty keeps saying this. Now everybody got underwear Olympics, but Shotty keeps saying this. I want to use my players for what they're good at. We gonna
Mhm.
see, Shotty, because we know what players are good at what, and we
Yeah.
know that they're not being utilized in the proper way. It's just like Kavontae Turpin. I'm telling y'all, Kavontae Turpin is gonna be our third receiver.
And we didn't talk about Turpin, so we kind of coming down to the end of the show at some point here, but we didn't talk about Turpin. So the last time we was on,
Mhm.
we had made some comments about Turpin. Now, what we found out allegedly he was speeding. He was going 100 miles an hour. So that's when we was on last time, we said he wasn't speeding. He was, and then we know about the other issues. But I said all that to say this: it should just be a fine. That's what he should get. And we saw the thing with Quinshon Judkins over the weekend. That was a pretty crazy story.
Mm,
So
mm,
thank
mm,
God that Cavante, obviously you driving 100 miles an hour after the Henry Ruggs thing. That
mm.
that just should not be happening. Now, man, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of the last time I was in a car. No, when you're going 85, that's pretty fast.
Well, like, and I was saying this too. We're not talking about a normal car. When
What
you
was
in
you
a,
driving?
I know it wasn't a normal car. When you in a Corvette or you in a Camaro or
A
whatever you in,
Charger?
yeah, if you in a Charger and a Hellcat and you going 120 miles an hour, it feel like you going 60. You know what I'm saying? Like when you in a Corvette and you going 100 miles an hour, it do not feel like you go. It's just like the Infinity. When you in the Infinity and you going 100, it don't feel like you going 100. It feel like you
Yeah.
going like 65 to 70.
And I was gonna shout out big time. So the last time we was on this show, he was on our show, and he said something about Allen. We didn't really know what had happened, but that's where the arrest was. He said you don't want to mess around in Allen. So when he said that, we
Oh,
didn't really know what he was talking about.
right. Oh,
So
we talking about an Allen. And
Allen, Tech, yeah.
oh yeah, no, yeah, oh yeah,
He said you
no.
don't want to mess around in Allen, Texas. So we
Mm-mm.
were thinking maybe he had been in Allen, but he was talking
It's
about
about
Turpin.
Turpin,
And I
right?
didn't at the time we didn't know where the
I
arrest
can
was.
I can count on my hands how many times I've been to Allen.
Well, that's where
Probably.
the polo store was. Me and your
Oh
mom would
yeah,
go a
so
lot.
that's where that massacre happened too,
Yeah, it's
at
a
that
guy at
outlet.
the it was a shooting at the outlet at the same outlet that we go to,
Yep,
and a guy I don't know how many people
we're
got
injured.
killed, but
BA.
he timed the shooting
Uh
to
huh.
coincide with what's the Mexican holiday, Cinco de Mayo.
Uh huh.
He did it on that day.
It was a hate crime.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, you don't, man, you can't be,
But
and it's
see,
been
big time.
documented.
But see, that's kind of like guys that's not from here, and like the athletes. That area up there, Frisco, Allen, Little M, all of that is kind of like where the players would actually, that's kind of where I could easily see a lot of players being in that
Yeah,
area
that's where a
because it's
lot of them live.
right. It's nice. It looks real nice. All the streets are
It's
nice.
not far from the star.
It's not far from the start at all. You know what I'm saying? It's right there. So it's just like that area up
Now
there is.
Sam Williams, he was in that vicinity
Mhm.
when he got pulled over. So yeah, it's
That's why I say it'd be so funny to see because we be seeing like CD and Trayvon. We see them out in the streets, like in Dallas. We see them
yeah.
like out around, stomping around like regular people. They be
Well,
doing it.
and unfortunately, like and Jeff Kavanaugh, shout out to Jeff. He just documented on his show DLS
Hmm.
that pretty much he's getting pulled over in those type of places in Dallas. He's just
Hmm.
saying he's not getting pulled over. And
Let me go get my charger real quick. Go
okay,
ahead.
so while he's doing that, but yeah, it's certain parts of the metroplex. I mean, it's well documented that when you in certain locations, you got to be on the straight and narrow, and that's just kind of how it goes. In Dallas, myself, I would say, now to think about this, just looking at the Cavante Turpin situation. And I had to think about this because I worked in Plano, and I started working in Plano it was 16 years ago, right at this point. But from the time I started working in Plano to today, I've probably been pulled over about 6 times. I'm gonna say 6 total. And the 6 times I've been pulled over, hadn't got a ticket yet. Of course, I have a perfect driving record, no history of nothing. I didn't have anything in my car. Now I did get pulled over one time in DeSoto on Beltline. So DeSoto is another suburb of Dallas. I got pulled over right down the street from the police station. Matter of fact, I can't remember what I got pulled over for. And so a funny story. At that time, this was years ago. I was carrying what's called a fanny pack. Some of the OGs know what that is. And so I had a fanny pack in the front seat, and the police officer, uh, he says, a lot of people like you have guns in your fanny pack and your little thing like that. I said, well, I don't have that in mind. But he didn't give me a ticket either. I was 2 blocks from the police station. So so I was telling him about I done got pulled over about 6 times and I haven't got a ticket yet for different things. And I was telling him about the time I got pulled over about 2 blocks from the police station in DeSoto, and the officer, he saw my fanny pack and he said a lot of guys carry guns in their fanny pack, which I told him that's not what I was doing with mine. But and then your sister, when I got home that day, she told me to ditch the fanny pack, and I stopped using it. But she told me that it wasn't cool to still carry a fanny pack. That's what she told me. Your sister told me that. And so when she said that, I was like, okay.
Well,
I'm
you see
ditching a
what
fanny pack.
you see what Miles said.
What do you say?
Look, Miles said we still wear fanny packs.
Well,
So
your cousin Lauren told me to smoke mine. So
yeah, here's the
I got,
thing
but
with the
I
fanny.
carry something similar to it. But
Yeah, and it's just it's just it's a fad. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it goes and it comes. Like right now, if you popped out with a fanny pack, first of all, you got to be swagged out with it.
I haven't seen people with them though.
Well, also, they got the whole satchel thing going on now. You see the
Well, that's
men
kind
with
of
the
what I have.
right,
A
right.
smaller version of it, yeah.
Yeah, you're a black one. That's what's popping. If
Yeah.
you're gonna wear something, you should wear that. You know
Now,
what
when
I'm
I say
saying?
the fanny pack, it's
I
like the
know what you're
old
talking.
school.
Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. To go around your waist. Yeah, no, you
Uncle
wanna.
Eric used to carry one.
I mean, you can be cool with one. I can pull it off. You know what I'm saying? It just got to match what you wearing.
But don't get stopped by a police officer with
Oh
one.
God, no. Uh,
Not like you fanny packs,
yeah,
backpacks, and usual with a pepper.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
pepper.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and you definitely have, backpack.
Yeah, no, for sure. But the police, man,
I was like Arlington, Dallas. Damn, JVB boy. So JVB, I done got pulled over 6 times. I'm 6-0.
no, you 0-6.
No,
You
I'm
ain't
6 and
went.
0.
No, you ain't went to
0 and
jail
6
now.
would 0 and 6 would mean I'm losing.
Oh yeah, so I guess you 6-0.
I'm
Yeah, the police.
undefeated.
The police, man, they really, like I said, sometimes it just depends on where you at. The Dallas police officers, they don't really be doing nothing. I tell this funny story all the time about this. How the Dallas police get down. One time I was driving. I was on 35. I was driving. I was passing Zane. I was driving, and so everybody in the car, everybody, you say how it is when you see a police officer. You see a police officer, everybody drives slow. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want to speed by the police officer. Well, we was in the fast lane and everybody else was just driving past them. So I was like, I'm just gonna just drive past them too. Big deal. We going by 75, 80. We are going a little over the speed limit. It's probably 65. We going 75. All of us are. It's like 5 of us, like a lot of us. So we drove by him. And then when I got by him, he aggressively like jumped over behind my car and like cut the lights on, and then like he was like swerving. He frightened me. I didn't know what was going on. Yes, this is in Dallas, right after 35. And he was like swerving out behind me with the lights off, and then he pulled back on the side of me. and pulled up on me and went like this to me, like this, and told me to let my window down.
While
And
y'all was
so
driving.
while we was driving on the freeway, and so I let the window down, and he said, "I know you seen me. I know you seen me. You better slow this car down right now. You better slow it down. I know you seen me." I was just like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." And I immediately called my mama. I was just like, I don't know what just happened. I just got cussed out by a police officer, by a black police officer.
He
He
didn't
just
pull you
cussed.
over.
No, he just pulled up on the side of me, told me to let my window down, and gave me a rant, cussed me out, and told me to slow it down, and then he sped off. I was like, wow, this
Yeah,
is
that's
this
that's that's Dallas.
that is Dallas for you, man. That's Dallas. Those the police officers in Dallas, they don't, man, they don't really it's like a lot of them is like our age too now. So it's just like they be like, man, I'm not finna get involved. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's just like you'll see a police officer and you can see somebody doing something that they know they're not supposed to be doing. The police officer will look at them and turn and go the other way. Like, I don't even want to be involved. I don't have time tonight. I'm just trying to get off my shift and go home. But it is what
Like
it
to go
is.
back to JVB boy, I done got pulled over like a couple of times because I had a tail light out, didn't know it. I got pulled over. Let me see, what was it be weird stuff, stuff like that. Now I have got pulled over for speeding. I got pulled over for speeding on Preston in Dallas when I worked at. I used to have to be at work at 5 o'clock in the morning. I got pulled over at 4:30 twice. It was 4:30 both times, 4:30 a.m.
Mm,
Two different cops,
mm,
and it was like a year apart. And I
yeah.
showed them my work badge where I was going,
Mm-hmm.
and they just let me walk. And I got pulled over in Waxahachie, and your mom was in the car. We were leaving your cousin graduation,
Oh
and,
yeah, I
and I
remember
had a
that.
tail light out.
I remember that. We was
Yeah,
leaving Kara graduation, or was it Dante graduation?
Dante.
Yep. So but yeah, Turpin, man, I think he gonna be the third receiver on this team. That's what I think. And I think that,
Yeah,
like, how they always one of the Cowboys biggest, well, I won't say Cowboys, I'll say Mike McCarthy. One of Mike McCarthy's biggest grievances was that,
yeah. You don't mess around in Duncanville, JV.
nah, you don't do that. Not in Duncanville, not in DeSoto. Those are places you just don't you want to avoid. You don't want to avoid, but you just got to make sure you on point when you riding through there. Especially Duncanville and DeSoto, you got to be on point. Because they will pull you over if for anything. Uh, but like I was saying, Cavante Turpin, I think he gonna be, well. What I was saying was Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, one of my grievances with him is he didn't know how to use his players. He didn't use them. He didn't use Hunter Luepke. He didn't use
Hmm.
Cavante Turpin right. This guy actually had Cavante. This dude actually had Cavante Turpin starting at running back in the game, and
Yeah,
so.
and they're reporting at the mini camp and the other camp they had. They said they had Shotty had him lining up and running back.
Well, I mean, that's fine. But if he's one of the third receivers, I mean, if he's a
Yeah,
third receiver,
they're just trying to get him the ball.
and that's all you got to do with him, get him the ball in space.
And you have him running on wheel routes out of the backfield. So yeah,
You
that
shouldn't be
makes sense.
having him going downfield unless it's a slant. You shouldn't be having him going over the middle like they were doing last year. And every time he get hit, he get pulverized.
Yeah,
You know what
McCarthy
I'm
was
saying?
using him like an X receiver.
That's just crazy. And so they don't use him right. And it's just like, well, McCarthy wasn't using any of the players right. He was having Zeke in on first and 10 and second and 10, and then putting Rico in on third and 1.
Yeah,
So he wasn't using them right. And also, they hit that switch that one year, 23, because they let Dak and CD utilize themselves the right way. They just say, you know what, we're not gonna do what you're doing.
yeah.
Oh yeah, nah, Studi
And they
Wood.
say Shotty was in on that.
Yep. And so Studi Wood, that's for sure. Brandon Cooks said that he wasn't being used right, and he was 100% correct because we was trying to figure out. Brandon Cooks has been 1,000-yard receiver his whole career. You know what I'm saying? So we was trying to
Yeah,
figure out why all of a sudden he was just missing the action, because the year that he had when he first got here, that year he did well. We was expecting him to do better the next year, but he regressed. And it was almost like he had something personal going on with the staff because he was not getting the ball at all.
Now me, I would have been fine with Brandon Cooks as our fourth receiver.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. What?
Yeah,
But but you got to be careful when you say things like that with them because something tells me if they would have had Brandon Cooks on this roster still, they probably
they wouldn't
yeah.
have traded for Pickens.
There you
Yeah,
go.
but and then I had Vach. Shout out to Vach on Vach show
Hmm.
uh last week or the week before last. Vach is still pushing them signing Amari Cooper,
I don't understand
and
why.
I
I don't see
and I
why we
would
wouldn't.
too.
Me too. About to say I don't see why not because he's still out there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
my
Keenan Allen is too.
only thing about them is well, you first of all you sign them after camp, and then
Yeah.
number two, you know, if they're gonna do something like that, that's great. But we really, really, really need to look at DT. You
Oh
really
well,
need to
yeah,
look at
but you
DT.
can do both.
You
You can
can,
sign
but
Amari Cooper and sign a defensive tackle. That's all in. And you got to remember, if Amari Cooper is your fourth receiver,
oh man, you
you take
smoke.
all of the craziness out of the whole process with him. You ain't got to worry about him. He just here. He's a good guy to learn from. He's bringing you getting all of the positives out of Amari Cooper. And then if he don't play, if you end up playing, look at our schedule where we played as cold because he's not playing in those games. He's not doing it. But
That's just not who he is.
but you ain't got to worry about it if he don't show up that Sunday because you got other guys. So that's kind
Hmm.
of that would be the advantage of signing him.
I would sign him tomorrow. I would sign him tomorrow and
I
tell
was
him.
signing Keenan Allen.
I would tell him you ain't even got it. You can come to camp. You ain't got to do all that. And he's you made up a good, you brought up a good point. The other receivers can learn from him because I'm talking about he took CD game to the next level for sure. You could see it. You could
Yeah,
see it.
he would be really helpful for you know uh
Oh,
Pickens
oh,
and
man.
CD and them the what's the guy our receiver we got from Carolina. I'm just losing having a senior moment.
Oh, he gonna have a good year too. I think. What's my guy name?
I don't know why I can't think of his name.
I'll figure it out. See, receiver Dallas. Let me just type in Dallas Cowboy receivers.
Shows you he ain't did much yet. We can't even think of his name. So he's battling Tober for the three, which that's going to be Tolbert and Tolbert
Mingo.
Mingo, Jonathan Mingo.
I don't think neither one of them. Me personally, I mean, like I said, Tolbert is not there. For me, I don't think there is a battle with Tolbert. Like
You're
John.
probably right. It's just like it's not a battle with the number one tight end to me either, because both Tolbert and Ferg, those are Dax guys.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's just you're not gonna get around that. I just don't think that Schoon is gonna become Dax guy. He's not. Mingo Tolbert is Dax guy, but I will say this: I think Tolbert is going to be your traditional three. I don't think Turpin fits in one of those categories. He's just going to be somebody that you just trying to
Get the ball.
get him the ball. It's not going to be in a traditional set.
He should be
That's
like an X factor.
yeah. He should be your X factor, your matchup guy, because they're
Mhm.
just totally different. So you ready to go ahead and wrap?
Yeah, I wanted to talk. I wanted to say one more thing about that. Because I seen this article that Shotty said that Reverend Span Ford has destroyed the competition. Basically, he said that I seen.
Scotty said that.
I think so. I think so. Yeah, I think maybe I read that wrong, but I need to go find
So so Clarence Hill, um, Joe Hoyt, and some other OG reporters, they were just saying that during the mini camps that they were just looking at Brevin score with the first teamers just so they could just give him a good look. It wasn't because he was competing with Ferg. They just they really giving him a shot just to get with the ones and see how he looks. So I think Brevin Span Ford is competing with Schoon. They did mention Fairweather, by the way, the
it.
guy that we've been talking about. So the tight
Yeah,
end thing is
that's
going to
it. So
be
This is it. So Nick Harris posted this on it. This is on Blogging the Boys. It says we saw a lot of Cowboys tight end Brevin Spann during OTAs and minicamp running with the ones. Head coach Brian Schottenheimer was super complimentary of his offseason today in his presser. He said he had an incredible offseason. He really did. The size alone, he said he had an incredible offseason. He really did. The size alone, he moves really well. I think he added 6 or 7 pounds of lean muscle mass. This guy is not just a run blocker and a pass protector. This guy can be a weapon because of his size in the middle of the field, matched up on linebackers and safety. The thing I loved about Brad from day one is you knew that this wasn't too big for him. You knew mentally that he knew I belong here. It doesn't matter how I got here, I belong here. He's pushing Jake Ferguson and Schoolmaker and all those guys. He's already made the jump. You ask me how I feel about it. He's already made the jump. He's another guy that when he puts the pads on, you're going to see him on the field. So to me, if Shotty's saying that about Shotty is the head coach, if he's telling us that he's already made the jump, it's not no, you know, well,
Yeah,
so.
we gotta see it, and so you set up dominoes. We got a few dominoes we gotta see fall. So that in a lot of ways, a training camp for some of these guys, it's underwear Olympics. They're not really hitting even in camp. So for Brevin Spann Ford, what's going to be big for him because it is, semi underwear Olympics. He gonna just have to show that he can run and catch the ball smoothly in 7-on-7 drills. Because Brian Browder, shout out to Brian. Brian Browder said he watched the practices, the mini camps, and he said that to him, Schoon and Brevin Spann Ford, they still just don't look natural. They just kind of struggle with the route running and catching.
He did say that.
But I think Brevin Spann Ford is competing with Schoon. I think Schoon, I'm going on record. I'm just thinking that if they give these guys a fair shot, I think the person that's in danger of kind of getting pushed down the pecking order is Schoon. It's not Ferg.
I mean, I don't know why people keep saying it. It's never going to be Ferg.
They just, you got people that, let me tell you this right here before we close. You got people that they don't like Dak. You see it every day on Twitter. It's just crazy to the point that when I see somebody discussing Dak in Twitter, I just bounce. I'm immediately out of the thread. That's number one. You got people that's got smoke for Ferguson. You got people that's got smoke for DaRon Bland. And of course Mozzie. And so that's just I don't understand the whole thing with Dak, Bland, and Ferg. The Mozzie one, I kind of get. You don't see a whole lot of what you do see smoke for Schoon. Let me take that back. But number one is Dak, and you know that. And then people don't like Bland, they don't like Ferg. The Ferg thing, I mean, he just didn't have a good year because he got hurt the first game. He had a concussion during the year. Then Dak was out. That makes back in the day in the 90s when Troy didn't play, Jake Novacek, he didn't have good games.
I mean, it's like
he
that
was Troy's guy.
It's like that for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? It's like that for a lot of players. And then another thing before we wrap, I wanted to say this. The NFL, the practicing is not like it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like the practicing, they always trying to keep the guys safe now, so they can't practice like that. But that's what made those teams in the 90s so different than the teams now. They was at practice getting hugged out. So they need to figure out how to. So what Shotty and them need to do is they need to figure out how to be innovative enough to where they can get these practices and really get it on without getting fined. But when they get to the game, this is like, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, if you got somebody like Micah on the field, your offensive line should be able to benefit from going up against Micah every day in practice, but they don't because ain't nothing that they can do besides just a little, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna push back on that. So the pass rushing drills in training camp, those are pretty close to like kind of what you get in a game. That's the one thing they do in camp. You're gonna see Tyler Guyton. You're gonna see in training camp if he can, if he's made some progress because those drills, they're pretty spot on. The other stuff like the one tech, Mozzie them, those are the ones you got to watch. The running backs the same. They're not gonna be taking the running backs to the ground in practice. It's never gonna happen.
It's just like Dak. When Dak be getting hit, I be like, dang. Every time he get hit, it's just like
Yeah,
something foreign that you don't see. And when you see Dak get hit, it be like, oh my god. But but Dak always hop right up.
yeah,
But
but
like,
yeah, you're
damn.
gonna see. So the seven on the receivers and tight ends, you're gonna get a lot of the corners, the receivers and tight end. You're gonna see their skills. You're gonna see the pass rushing skills. Now Micah shouldn't be out there because he ain't got a contract yet, but I think Michael's gonna be in camp. He's not gonna be doing those pass rushing drills in camp. It's not gonna happen. Well, it like I say, well, it shouldn't happen. I can't imagine
Mhm.
this because the reason is those are like really good drills to do in camp. So, but yeah, and just to piggyback on your point about training camp when Jimmy, you know who really had hard camps was notorious for it, Marty Schottenheimer.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
His training camps were brutal.
Mm. Well,
So that's why
Shotty,
they was one of the best AFC teams too.
right? They had that grit. They played like an NFC team.
So hopefully he gets some of his dad stuff going with this team. And the domino of all dominoes for me is does Dak, CD, and all these guys and these running backs are they gonna play in those first three preseason games? Because if they don't play, boy, I tell you something, that's a problem. It's gonna be a lot of
Dak needs to spearhead this movement, and Dak needs to just say, "We playing." That's what it is. We playing.
yeah. He just needs to play a series or two. That's
That's
it.
it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? On every last one of them, and then maybe like a couple series on the
The
last one.
Well, the third one they can sit it out, but the first two, Dak needs to play the first couple of series. That's it.
Mahomes now be playing a whole quarter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what they should do. But yeah,
All right, well, yeah, y'all. We gonna piggyback on. We gonna wrap up on that topic, and then we'll come back. We need. I want to do a show about that. I know we're gonna get do a show with B Bird coming talking about the 30-year drought coming up, but I
yeah,
want to do a
yeah.
show on that too because we need to highlight that, and we need to like benefit. We need to like highlight that and get that out here in the world about the preseason games. Not nobody's talking about that. So like man, like we said earlier, man, we appreciate everybody joining in and watching the shows. I mean, our views have went up tremendously. We got a lot of followers over the last few months, so we can see that y'all are really playing a part and building our channel, and we appreciate y'all, especially everyone that always come through, like JVB boy, Studi Wood, Big Time, Miles, let's see who else. I don't want to miss nobody. Jeremy, Magic Mike, Brandon, my
You got JVB boy.
yeah, JVB boy. JVB boy. Shout out to you, Lou. But everybody that always come out, shout out to you, Ramon. At the Basement Boys. Shout out to
Mhm.
everybody that always come in, and we enjoy talking to y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's not just us. You know what I'm saying? It's y'all too. You know what I'm saying? So as we grow, y'all do too, because we gonna be, like for instance, if we get one day somewhere and we got all these followers, we gonna know who is our day one supporters, and we gonna make sure that we support y'all in whatever y'all do too, because without y'all, we wouldn't have the success that we have right now. So when the season come out, I know we all waiting on the season to come out. So because we're gonna be locked game in and game out, and we're gonna do watch parties to where like we just gonna be on here talking during the game, and so that's gonna be fun because y'all can tap in with us, and then we can do it to where I'll post the link. So JVB boy, Basement Boys, Lou, we could all hop on here and just watch the game and kind of just comment back and forth while we watching the game, and that'll be cool. So y'all make sure that y'all like and then spread the word. So because we're trying to get to 500 followers and we got 205. So spread the word. Anybody that you talking to about the Cowboy, tell them to check out Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talk. It's a cool environment, real respectful. So just shoot the link over to them, or tell them to type in Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talk, and give us a subscribe so we can run our numbers up. So that's the thing. Make sure you share the video, not only like and subscribe, but make sure you share the content so that way we can get our followers to get up to 500, because that's the next big goal for us, is to get 500. Once we get that, we will have another mark to make. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Everybody that stayed the whole way, appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.